You mentioned yesterday, Jason's mentioned before, Jeff Passon's mentioned it, Zach Meisel's mentioned it, that the Guardians should be buyers in the upcoming trade deadline with the uncertainty in the American League, their position in the division, the wealth of prospects they have. How big of buyers, though, do you think they should be?
Oh, they should be huge buyers, in my opinion. They need. I would go all in this year if I were them. The American League is wide open. Really the only team, I would argue the only team in baseball that is 100% clearly better than the Guardians is the Dodgers. I don't know that I buy that there's anybody else that's slam dunk better than the Guardians. So obviously you might if you get to the World Series, there's a decent chance you'll end up playing the Dodgers, but who knows? I mean, obviously the Blue Jays had a 3-2 lead on them last year before ultimately losing. But guys, this is the year. You said it earlier, Jason. If not now, when?
When?
Like, you give them credit. In 2016, 2017, they spent money. They were all in. They made the Andrew Miller trade. All in, to me, is a bat, a pitcher, and a bullpenner. And I would go big time all in. I would try to get Aroldis Chapman. I would try to get Freddie Peralta. And I would try to get Jarren Duran. Now, that's a lot. I don't know if you can get all three.
You won't get all three.
But you could. I think it's possible if you're willing to be not scared to trade prospects.
Bull, you know good and well there's a one-move trade for every 10 years. You try to get 3 people at the deadline?
Trying to get
three?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. You're not getting no 3.
I would rather Jordan than Jarren Duran.
Well, of course I would too. But
why is he not available? I don't listen to what they say on June 9th.
Okay. It's not that I don't think he's available. It's that you have to give up Engel, Velasquez, and Janelle probably to get him. Are you doing it? I would. I'd give up all 3 of them.
You can't play all
Yesterday, Jay said Ralphie Velasquez is untouchable. I think he's out of his mind.
Nobody should be untouchable.
Nobody.
I mean, the Guardians were just at one point in time, because you guys are prospect guys, where they had so many prospects that they could not even find places for them to get at bats or play.
And most of them never worked out.
And most of them never even sniffed it.
I'll tell you this. For Yordan Alvarez, the only players I would not trade are Jose, Bazana, believe it or not, and I could even be talking to that, but I wouldn't trade him.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade.
I wouldn't trade Gavin Williams.
Rocchio's not unmovable.
I would trade anybody. I would trade Manzardo. I'd trade DeLauder. I wouldn't want to trade those guys.
The Astros need a complete system restock.
Yes, which is why I offer 2 out of 3 between the 3 guys I mentioned. Those are their 3 best hitting prospects. I offer them those 2 guys and whoever. I don't even know who their best pitching prospect is right now.
I mean,
Cal Steffen.
We should
fine offer
Joey Oki.
Okay, offer one of those 2 guys and 2 of the 3 hitters. It might take more than that.
Well,
Yordan Alvarez is a top 5 hitter in baseball.
Yeah, I know, but we should do this. We got plenty of time. We got plenty of time.
Yeah.
But the Red Sox, when they got Garrett Crochet, he had 4 or 5 years of control when the White Sox traded him.
Are you sure about that? I didn't think it was that many.
He was only a year or 2 in.
How many years does Alvarez have left? 3 at least.
Let
me see.
I think he's got 2 left.
Oh, is it only 2?
I'm looking it up right now, Bull.
But and obviously pitching's more of a premium than a DH. It just is.
Yeah.
And then the White Sox, the Red Sox had to give up Kyle Teal. I'm trying to do this off memory. Do you remember who they got? The Crochet, the Red Sox, White Sox deal?
I don't remember.
It was Teal for sure.
Yeah, he's a catcher.
Top
who's been
catching
hurt
prospect. And then 2 or 3 other big names that you would know.
Right, yeah.
They got Teal, Braden Montgomery, who was their first-round pick.
He's been excellent.
Yeah.
Chase Meadroth and Wakelman Gonzalez.
3 of the 4 are on the Major League roster.
Gonzalez was also on the Major League roster for a brief time. Yeah. So Meadroth is a decent player.
Yeah.
Montgomery's a good player.
Yeah.
Not great. Teal hasn't played enough. He's been hurt so far this year.
But they were their top prospects.
Yeah, and they're all major leaguers.
They were probably 4 of their top 12 prospects.
Right, and that's what the Guardians have to do.
If you
Alvarez has 2 full years of control after this.
So 3 postseasons.
So you get 3 postseasons.
Well, who knows what happens next year?
Right.
If you are already playing a bunch of young players,
yeah.
wouldn't this be the most opportune time to move prospects if you already have young guys in pivotal positions already playing?
Yeah.
So my question is, if you guys are saying it, and Zach is saying it, and everybody's saying, everybody in every publication. Can you give me a solid reason as to why they would not be buyers at the deadline? Because that's what
they will be. The Guardians will be buyers at the deadline. The question is, will
How
it be
much?
big buyers or little buyers?
So like Angel Hano, the shortstop.
Yeah. I thought it was
Janau.
Janau.
No, I think
Hano?
it's Hano.
Okay.
Hano.
Zach pronounced it Hano
Okay.
the other day.
Okay, then it's a no. No.
I think you feel good about Rocchio now, right? Like finally, do you feel good about him
Good
long
enough,
term?
yeah.
So where are you going to play Hano?
No. I'm trading him 100%.
So and he's probably a top 20 prospect.
And
in
Engel
baseball.
doesn't really have a great position.
I mean, is he? He could catch, but is he going to catch here where they put
They've
such a
committed to
value?
Patrick Bailey.
but
Why, I don't know.
But they put such a value on pitch framing and defensive.
They don't even care about hitting.
I don't think Engel is at that level. I don't know that for sure. I don't think Engel's on that level.
Hit.
Yeah,
Patrick Bailey can't hit.
Right.
But,
and I mean Velasquez. No, I don't want to deal him.
No.
And no trade do you trade your top 4 guys. Like no trade in history do you trade your top 4 prospects.
But they're going to have to trade.
If you do multiple
they would have to trade
trades,
2 of those 3 hitters, I think.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good with
I'm
that.
getting Yordan Alvarez for 3 postseasons. The guy is one of the premier hitters in baseball.
Which completely changed their lineup.
Completely.
I mean, Bazana, Jose, Yordan. I bet Yordan 3rd.
Right.
DeLauder 4. Manzardo 5.
Yeah.
So
you actually have 5 major league hitters at the top of your lineup.
So put yourself, you're the GM, and the trade doesn't happen. Explain to me why.
The Guardians have been scared to trade prospects.
But also,
lately.
just because baseball considers them top prospects, each organization values guys
Yeah,
differently.
that's true.
Houston may like another group of prospects better than what Cleveland can offer.
I'll tell you what, too. If you trade with Houston...
Or fill in the blank. It doesn't have to be Houston, whatever team we're talking about.
Well, if you're trading for Yordan Alvarez and you're giving up a ton, you get them to kick in some because they have some interesting bullpen arms that can help. They got Steven Okert. They've got Brian Abreu. They've got Hader even. I don't know that they would trade him. I don't know what his contract is. But
they're not taking on that. I mean, Houston would have to eat almost all that money.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of money. But whatever. They still got Abreu. They still got there's another relief pitcher I like on that team.
King, isn't there?
Brian King. Yeah. Brian King and Steven Okert. All have been good relief pitchers.
And, I mean, Houston's only 3 games out of the wild card. So I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they may not sell.
They may not.
We'll see.
But again, I'm not going to listen to what any team says on June 9th.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take a lot. If you're the Astros, I'm not trading Alvarez unless it's a trade I can't refuse.
You have to restock
the
entire farm
So if
system.
the Guardians think if the trade we were just talking about, Jay would have a aneurysm if that trade happened.
But I was thinking about this. When you talk about the Cavs going all in with Evan, right? I wonder, and I don't know if there's a way to quantify this. I wonder if the Cavs won a championship 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. Dan was the owner for that championship, and he was obsessed with. He kept talking about hanging an A banner, winning a championship.
Right.
Does that, and now Kobe was on staff, but he wasn't in charge at the time. Obviously, he wants to win a championship. And 10 years is a long time, but it's not a lifetime. So what is the desire level or the desperation level for an organization that won a championship 10 years ago versus an organization that hasn't won it in 78 years?
78 years. There's not many people alive that saw that championship.
So if the Cavs hadn't won in 2016, maybe I'm giving you a different answer. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
That's a good question.
But the fact
you would think now Dolan has shown no desperation.
But if he knows he's on his way out.
Yeah.
This may be his last best shot.
And the American League has never been more wide open.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
So all of the factors are like the Myles Garrett trade of guys, everything's lining up. Some people wanted to see it, some people didn't.
Yeah.
But we're just telling you hey, this is all lining up to head to this. I'm telling you with the Guardians, this is all lining up to where if it's not now, I don't know when you ever would. If you don't do it now, I don't know when you.
No, unless there's an official ownership.
What is the more perfect scenario?
Does a championship change the trajectory of Dolan's legacy? Because
100%.
So if he wins, it doesn't matter if he's cheap, and does he just automatically climb over the rest of the team?
It will absolutely change his legacy and how
he would have to be considered the best owner in town because the Guardians overall have been the best franchise in this town.
People are so in love with Dan Gilbert, they will never. They will
and
never
he won a
agree to that.
championship.
And he won a championship.
And the Guardians to this point have not. And then Dan took care of his rich fans by, giving them free tickets in Detroit.
Question for you guys real quick, then
Yeah.
we'll wrap up. When we come back, we'll play Name That Dude. But we got a super chat that was in line with this.
Yeah.
Would you trade Chase the Ladder for Scooble if the Tigers would take it? That's from Sly.
No, I wouldn't.
Dang, bro.
I wouldn't. Here's why. He's injured right now.
Yeah.
And first of all, you only will have him for this postseason.
Yeah.
And he's coming off injury. I think it's too risky to trade.
It's June 9th. Scooble's already in rehab appearances.
That's true.
He's going to be back in 3 weeks.
Let me say this. Right now, I say no.
Check
If they
back.
made that trade, first of all, you'd have to give up more than Chase.
Is
Water.
this the
Guardians will never do that.
Is this the
No.
Guardians version of the Mobley versus Giannis trade?
Well, I think it's
No,
unrealistic.
it's not this. But the Cavs have to be more desperate in terms of it's now or never for the Cavs, where it's not the case with the Guardians. But
I mean, it's been 78 years.
no, I understand. But the Guardians have a good young team. The Cavs don't.
Well, some would say a good young talent.
I think the Guardians should be desperate. Would you trade DeLauder as the centerpiece for Scooble?
I mean, have you seen DeLauder's injury history?
I hear you, but
And are you going to get? They have to know now his appetite for a long-term extension.
Right.
If he's open to an extension, if they get something done, it would make it much harder. If he is of the Scott Boras mindset of I'm not signing, I'm going to free agency. Yeah, I'd think long and hard about it.
I think if you're going to trade DeLauder, if you were going to trade him, I'd rather trade him for another superstar that I could have for more than 1 year. Which
I'll agree with that.
So-
I'm with you on that one.
as great as Scooble is, I'd rather trade for Yordan Alvarez than Scooble because
I think I don't think he's coming here. I think
Yeah.
Zach's right.
Yeah.
But I think we undersell. Go look at Detroit's record in games he pitches and
I hear
games
you.
he doesn't. It is
the
unbelievable.
Guardians are completely the favorites with a healthy Scooble
Yeah.
for this year, no doubt.
All right.